All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone who taught us this truth. My name is Milchamah, coming back at you with another video. I'm going to make this pretty short, hopefully. Okay, so what I recently found out was we on the verge of a government shutdown. And this is 2025. And I typed this up, and well, in the midst of typing it up, it automatically filled what I was about to type up. So this was what came up, and so we're gonna go into what is a government shutdown, and this just going into what this drop down has. It says people also ask. It says, when would a government shutdown occur? When was the last U.S. government shutdown? Why did Trump shut down the government? Who's getting paid during a government shutdown? Okay, so we're going to look this first one up. It says the government shutdown. It says the government shuts down when Congress is unable to pass appropriation bills that finance the operation of federal agencies and programs such as National Institute of Health or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. So this is going into, pretty much welfare, okay? So it says, when was the last U.S. government shutdown? And that was, I think it says, well, it has a few on here. I'm going to go all into that, but it says 6 more rows. But what we see here is 2018 and 19, and it was 35 days. So this is why did Trump shut down the government? Who's getting paid during the government shutdown? Do banks close during government shutdown? Let's see that what that one has. It says all banks will be open during federal government shutdown. During this time, does it make every effort to process claims in an expedient manner? Okay. Does Congress get paid? Yeah. Do you get money if your bank shuts down? Okay. So pretty much government shutdowns is going into, like they said, supplements, nutritional assistance program. That's what I'm getting. But they're going back and forth with this particular situation in the government shutdown. And they were saying something about Trump going into that it was going to be on him. And he said he didn't really want to talk about it. I never understood that, but okay. So now, if that actually happens, I think more of the people that's on supplement, benefits such as SNAP is going to pretty much catch, the brunt of it. And I think that, this is all designed, by Trump anyway, because, I think a lot of the stuff he wanted to cut anyway, dealing with, back when he was dealing with Doge, I don't know if they still around or whatever, but you don't really hear them like, how they was at first, but, they was doing a lot of cutting different programs and things of that nature. Okay, it says Salaki. Let's see what they talking about on here.
Television, shut it off and come sit down and negotiate with us.
I have covered a lot of government shutdowns, a lot of shutdown threats over the years, but this one is starting to feel a little bit different. And there's one big reason why. No one is even talking, and both sides are digging in. Now, you might be surprised that Democrats actually have a lot of say in ultimately what happens here.
Democrats are ready to work with the president. We're willing to sit down with him today, tomorrow. We'll even come to the golf course.
Yes, Republicans, they control the House and the Senate, but in the Senate you need 60 votes to advance legislation. The Senate is controlled 53-47. 7 Democratic votes will be needed. That means Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democratic leader, has a lot of leverage. The last time this happened was back in March. At that time, Chuck Schumer ultimately capitulated. He agreed with Republicans to pass a straight extension of government funding until this upcoming deadline on September 30th. But back then he got enormous blowback from House Democrats and the left. This time he says things are different. He says he and Hakeem Jeffries, the House Democratic leader, that they are on the same page, and they both are now drawing some pretty firm lines. Now they want to reverse Medicaid cuts that were included as part of President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. They also want an extension of Obamacare subsidies, which are set to expire at year's end. And they want to make sure that President Trump can't cut federal spending without the consent of Congress.
Democrats do not support the partisan Republican spending bill because it continues to gut the health care of the American people.
Those are non-starters for Republican leaders who want a straight extension of government funding with no poison pills up until November 21st.
Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries decide they want to shut the government down. They've created the problem.
They say keep the government open now and negotiate later. In fact, House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune helped persuade.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand, with this government and just America, in general, because there's just so much going on, and this place is haywire, man. Like the last video I done, Jeremiah chapter 50, goes into how this place used to be a golden cup in the Lord's hand, and it's not so now, man. It's just a lot of back and forth. Egyptian against Egyptian, which, is the modern day Americans. American against Americans, man. And, the left and right wing, which is the same bird, And it's just, they have an agenda, and their agenda is to, push, their New World Order. And the New World Order, in order to receive a lot of these supplements, okay, you're gonna have to, be in league with the beast system, and to receive his, his charagma. Okay, if you don't know what the charagma is, read Revelation 13 and 16, and I think 17 or whatever on down, and has the word M-A-R-K. That's what the charagma is in the Greek. And, that's supposed to be, in order to use his, his system, you have to get this thing inserted in you, okay? Ultimately, because if you're dependent on the government, this is what they're going to ask you to do, it's just, this is a lot, especially when you think of how much is going back and forth with these different, mandates, and, he don't want to talk about it, and, he won't talk about everything else but this. So this guy is just a total Hollywood movie star, man. So I just really wanted to touch on that. So I'm gonna grab a scripture. With that being said, let's just go to. Is it? I think. Which one I'm looking for? So it's Jeremiah. I had Jeremiah. Okay. Let's see. Jeremiah chapter 49:7 says, concerning Edom, thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is his counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back. Dwell deep, O inhabitants of the land, for I will bring the calamity upon Esau, calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaming grapes? If thieves by night, they would destroy till they had enough. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbor, and he is not. Because this is the time that we're in where all hell is gonna break loose, man. And they're gonna have the public with their back up against the wall, because there's so much going on. They won't hell, chaos. They want chaos to bring in their new order, basically. So this is just another thing to add to the bucket right here. The government is shut down. So hey, it is what it is. So we're gonna see what happens with this particular situation, okay, and how far they go along with it. And yeah, so that's what it is. So till the next time, I say shalom.